Well, now looky what I got over here. I'm going to show you here. Now this is what I call my germination box, and the last video I did, I believe, it was a little while ago, maybe a few weeks ago, and I was going to plant some beets in here to let them start to grow, and then I was going to transplant them later. And what this is, again, you know, it's just a little box with some grow lights in it and some light bulbs so that it'll stay warm in here, because we've had a very cold spell and it's starting to warm up right now. Today it's 33, 34 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's it's been a long time since that's been that way. It's been absolutely cold. This has been one of the worst winters that I can remember as far as cold and snow and all that stuff. And all the weather report people are going, gee, when it warms up, you know, in the mountains, I hope we don't get flooding. So there's all people scared to death about flooding now because it's warming up. Anyway, it's the middle of March, and that's where we are. And let me show you what I've got here. Now these are those beet sprouts. Now these were planted with saved seeds from some beets that went to seed on me quite a while ago. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these out one by one later on, not today, and we're going to plant them. And let me take you over here and I'll show you where we're going to plant them. Okay, we're over here in my main greenhouse, and if you can see, I've got some grow beds here. Hopefully the noise of the cooler that's running right now, hope that doesn't bother you. It's kind of interesting. It's just barely above freezing right now, and I need the cooler in here because it got over 100 degrees Fahrenheit earlier this morning. So that one cooler is running, bringing that 35 or so degree air in here, and it's cooling it right off, and it's about 75 or something like that in here now. Anyway, now getting back to what I was going to do. These 4 grow beds, 1, 2, 3, 4. Last year I grew a bunch of things in them, but one of the things I grew in a couple of these was beets. Now there's a few beets left. Now these all wintered over, and what I did was I've been pulling these out. Now these are smaller ones because they didn't get as big as I would like them to have, but what I'm doing here is I'm going to pull out the beets, pull out what's left of them, and then we're going to stir this up. And I've got some, let me get a little closer. Crowding out my strawberries. There it is.
Oh man, that's a
Let's see if I can get some of the dirt off.
huge beet.
Yeah. Okay, there's the beet.
Oh my goodness.
And there's still all these other, we broke one off. It was a big old stringer. Now that's a harvest. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pull out what's left of these beets, because what I need to do is stir this up and put some peat moss in with it and maybe some perlite to get this ready. I'm going to have to do that to all of these. Now let's see what's left. Now these are just, well, were too small to harvest a little bit ago. I mean like a few weeks. And but look, that's not, some of these are not terribly small right now. Now that one is kind of small, so we're not, well, I'll take that in, what the heck. And there's one more left here. Now we'll put them right here. Let's see here. Well, here's the last of those beets that we just pulled out of there and harvested. And when you consider that these are leftovers from a wintered over harvest, that's not bad. So, but the rest of this is all compost, so we'll take these in and we're going to eat them. Now to prep the soil, what that means is this soil has been in here for quite a while, so and what I need to do is I need to put a little more soil in it, and I'm going to put some peat moss in it, and I'm going to also put a little bit of perlite in it. Now, the one thing that concerns me a little bit is peat moss is a little bit acidic, or it will get acidic. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but it's known to be acidic. Beets really, I don't believe beets really enjoy having acidic soil. So to counteract that, so you see my sprinkler system here, Now this comes out of the fish pond over there. Now the fish pond has a tendency to get alkaline, and I think that's mostly because the fill water I use is out of our well, and the well comes out at about a pH of 8, so it's pretty alkaline. So what I'm going to do here is kind of a twofold thing. The fertilizer that comes from the fish pond, that's going to help this too, but since most of the time it's going to be a pH of 7 or 8, and I try to keep it down by putting acid in it periodically. As the water comes in here, it should counteract the tendency of the peat moss to be acidic. So hopefully it'll work. Now it did work last year because we got a lot of nice beets out of this grow bed, and these others here too. And matter of fact, I thought I had all those. There's another one out of that third pot or that third grow bed over there. Apparently there's still some more stragglers in there. But anyway, it's time for planting. And planting here in March is a great idea because it freezes every night in here, but beets can stand freezing. They have no problem. They just don't really grow really good if it's freezing. They don't do well. Well, what I mean is they'll survive just fine if it's freezing, but they don't grow very fast, and then the bulbs don't get big very fast. But if you have it nice and warm, they will, and that's what's happening right now. Like I say, it's just above freezing outside, and inside, with the cooler running, it's about 75, 80 degrees in here, which is pretty good temperature for growing something like beets. So, let me go get those beets over there, and we'll start. Okay, now here are my beets. As you can see, I just planted these in a little pie plate and sprinkled the seeds around. And I think I've shown you this before on the last video. But you see how well some of these have grown pretty tall. And the idea is I'm going to take them out of here and plant them in these 4 grow beds along here. Space them about 3 inches apart, something like that. So that ought to give me quite a few beets, and with enough space like that, they ought to grow really big. Now I'm going to put them out here for now and let them kind of sit here, because tonight it'll get cold in here, maybe even down to freezing, and it'll warm up in here, so they'll kind of get acclimated to the greenhouse before I take them out of that pie pan and that pie plate and plant them in here. Beets are pretty hardy that way if you know how to do it. And I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. But for now, here's my peat moss. You don't want to overdo this. There we go. That means a lot. Now the reason for the peat moss is to help these be better draining and a little looser soil, and that's kind of beets and a lot of root soils, a lot of root type plants will do better if the dirt isn't compacted around them like a clay kind of thing. If it's very loose, that does help them to grow better. Now in this bucket I've got perlite, and dump some of that in here. Now perlite doesn't have any nutrition value to it. This is just to kind of make the soil a little more loose and moisture holding, and it works pretty well. Now I bought this stuff online some time ago, and I got it in a bag of, I don't know, it was like a bale of hay is how big it was, but it was only 10-15 pounds. This stuff is pretty lightweight. So now what I got to do is find my trusty spade and kind of dig this up. I'm not going to bore you with watching this whole thing, but the idea here is to mix this stuff all in this soil so that the perlite and the peat moss get mixed up in here quite well. And then we'll start planting the beets, maybe tomorrow. Okay, here we are after about 5-10 minutes of work. I've got it all smoothed out and all looking nice. It's really nice and moist too, because I have been watering it. And look at that, there's some kind of critter there. That's a good sign, because you want to have soil that's alive, so to speak. Anyway, all right, then I've got to work on this one, and that one. In the meantime, I'll take these in the house and we'll eat those. And I'll leave this out here for tonight. And we'll clear the rest of these out here in a little bit and then plant all of these probably tomorrow.